I'm gonna put you on the spot there. So let me let me tell you, if you didn't hit Success Club last month or the month prior, I want you to hit it this month. And I want you to really go for it. Nobody's gonna get Success Club by not doing anything, first of all, we all know that. But there's a couple of things that you can do that makes life a lot easier, and one of them is Facebook events. And not just putting a Facebook event, like Kaylee said, not just like throwing it up there and, okay, I got an event, but to make sure you're taking certain steps to make sure that it's a good event. I do want to prerequisite this as saying, if your Facebook event only has like 3 people, it says 3 people going, that it doesn't truly matter. A lot of people don't RSVP, number 1. Number 2, you only need 3 people, so who cares? And don't ever look at the declined invites. I did that once, and I was like, what? I have never done it again. I don't care. I don't care who declines it, okay? They're just not ready, that's all right, no big deal. But let's get into why why invite through a Facebook event. Oh look, people go to Music Fest. Okay, all right, flip the slide, please. All right, cool. Why events? Other than personally messaging friends on Facebook, which is my number 1 way to invite. So do not, I repeat, do not use this as something to get away from inviting personally, one-on-one messages. It doesn't take the place of, it just enhances. Okay. Facebook events are the second most effective way for me to get the word out to every single month for my next challenge group. It also gives me an easy way for me to have my current challengers and past challengers get the word out for me, which is really awesome. Go ahead, next slide. Other benefits, non-invasive. Did you guys ever have someone add you to a Facebook group when you weren't asked? Is that so annoying? Maybe it's just me, but every time I'm added to a Facebook event or group, I'm like, what the heck? I did not tell them they can add me to this. It drives me insane. So anyway, this is not the same. People aren't gonna be mad that you invited them to an event. They can always just click no and no big deal. All is well. And like I said, don't look at those no's. It's easily duplicatable. So as coaches, our job is to build a team of coaches. That's one of our jobs, right? And if it's not simple and like easily duplicated for other people, listen, I could be the best at doing what I do. I could be like super creative and super awesome. I could have the best posts in my challenge group. I could do all that stuff, but it doesn't help my team. If I don't do something and show my team how to do it, it doesn't help them. They can get in on it, they can join in, but they can't then duplicate it because I was just so awesome. You know what I'm saying? So having something easily duplicatable is awesome. It gives them an outline and then they can put their own spin on it because we want everybody to just be themselves, right? So this gives them a great opportunity to duplicate it themselves. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later. It builds relationships with your prospective challengers because it gives, Facebook is like this big, events is this big. They feel more welcome to ask questions, even though people can see what they post, it doesn't feel that way. In an event, it feels intimate and they can ask questions versus they probably wouldn't ask the same questions on your timeline, if that makes sense. So it also gives more engagement. Notifications. This is one of the number 1 reasons to have a Facebook event. When you're posting in your Facebook event, whoever you invited is going to get a notification. Unless they click no, not going. But they'll always get those notifications. So you post something in there, they get a ding. That doesn't happen on your timeline. They have to comment on something for them to get notifications. Make sense? In an event, they will get all those notifications. And then right before the event and the day of the event, they'll get an RSVP reminder because Facebook hooks us up, All right, cool. Next slide. I hope that kind of sells you on the idea of using Facebook events. All right, so here are 2 examples of, actually, let me go back for a second. Yeah, 2 examples of photos and the names. So you'll see country, heat, dance yourself fit. That's pretty self-explanatory. People are gonna know that it's like a dance country thing. And fit shows, that it's has to do with fitness. Lose up to 12 pounds in 21 days, obviously, they kind of know what that's all about. So what I'm saying is, for your title, make sure they know what it is, or make sure it's really super eye-catching. I saw one for Starbucks. It said, Frappy Friday. That's cute, right? Find something that's cute and that it stands out for your words. Warning though, if you make it too long, they won't read the whole thing. So make sure your first couple words are important. And that goes with anything on social media. You need to make your first words stand out. You need to make your first picture stand out. Whatever is first, whatever they're gonna see while scrolling by needs to be eye-catching, okay? The words are super, super important because you want them to read it. All right, so pictures. I want to show you real quick about this. This picture up here takes up the entire thing, okay? Both these pictures were made on canva.com, so www.canva.com or picmonkey.com, PICMONKEY, I think, .com, if I can spell right. All right, so you have, this one takes up the whole thing, and this one here, it's actually longer, takes up, most of the stuff is in the middle. When you make your picture, you want to make sure and test it out before you start inviting people to your event. Put the timeline picture in your event, the cover photo in your event, and then look at the event on your phone. Everybody who sees the event is going to be on their phone. I'm going to say 99% of everything you post, somebody's going to be looking at it on their phone, not on a desktop. They're not going to see that whole picture. They're only going to see some of it. So when you put that picture in the event, open up your phone, see what it looks like first, then start inviting people, because you want to make sure that they see something eye-catching there. It's only going to show a little bit. So that's really, really important. So that's your pictures. Words at the bottom, keep this in mind also. The words in the bottom are going to take up space. So for here, I wrote down, I put some things on here to tell them who it's for and who it's not for. I needed to make sure that the words on the bottom are not going to cover that. These are all super important, so test it. Test it first before you make it go live, okay? Here, she has click going, and she put it strategically in the place where it's going to be when someone looks at their phone or their computer. So play around with your pictures before you start inviting people. There's also another website. I have not used it, but in looking at this information, I found it. It's called landscape.com. Landscape.com. And what that will do is you are not just going to be you want to get the most out of your photos that you made on Canva, PicMonkey. We don't want to spend too much time here, right? So you can put your picture into landscape.com and it will adjust it for different social media platforms. And then you can move it over and make it look good, and then it'll cut it, and all within one site. So it's pretty cool. All right, so that's the event picture title. Okay, so when you're also making it, one more thing, make it public. Make sure it's a public event. So what happens is, if I invite Angie to my event, and then Angie clicks interested or going, her friends are going to see that she clicks that. That's really important. If it's a private event, I don't think it does that. I think it only does that for public events, okay? All right, cool. So title, you can do a theme, make it fun. I already told you this, the Starbucks one. Okay, flip the slide. Description. I'm gonna get down now. I don't wanna be standing in front of that. Okay, attention grabbing first line. I told you that. Make sure you have it. Make sure it tells a little bit about who you're looking for. Make sure it says description should be clear and concise as to where the challenge is, who it's being held, who it's for, and the start and end date. There should also be a clear call to action and what's going to happen next. So make sure you have all these things in your description. Who's this for? It's an online support group. How many people have done an event and someone messages you and says, oh, I can't make it that day? Yeah. I'm like, what? What do you mean you can't make it that day? Oh my gosh. Or people telling me they're gonna be I don't know, all over the place. I'm like, it's not in person. How many times do I have to say that? Make sure you tell them it's online. Prerequisites, make sure you talk about it. It's for your customers. And say it nicely. Say, hey, listen, this is for all my personal customers. If you already have a coach, message them and see if they have a challenge group going, This is something that we try to have our whole team do so that we can direct them to the person who they're working with. If they're already working with someone and you find out while you're talking to them, then we try to message that other coach who's already working with them and just let them know, hey, they need some support, can you reach out to them, and all as well. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're sending them back to their coaches, because you know what, as a challenger, you have no idea. Like, you just don't know. You're not supposed to know, who cares, right? If I'm just a challenger and I just want to join a challenge group, I don't care. I'm like, oh cool, Kaylee's having one this month, and then next month Carrie is, and I'm gonna do all the challenges, which is cool, that's fine, but we just have to redirect them back to the person who's helping them. Let them know if it's free or not free, that's another thing. If you say it right in the description, you're going to save yourself a ton of time. And what's the next step? So go ahead, next slide. Here's an example. It says, how would you like to create a healthy habit of healthy eating and working out in just 21 days? That's a great first line, because right there, like, they already know what's going to happen, right? It just talks about what kind of people who, you know, are you losing weight, or are you trying to get a six-pack, or are you, did you take a little hiatus off of your healthy lifestyle and just need to get back in? And then a little bit about how it says, for me, it finally became time to change what I was doing, time to invest in the rest of my life. Is it time to invest in you? Right there, it just tells them, you know what? Maybe it's not free, you know? But even there, if you look even further, it says, this is not a free challenge. It's time to invest in you. So at first, it's just a little like, hey, this probably isn't free. And then later, it's like, hey, this is not free, you know? So let them know ahead of time. It talks a little bit about why to do this challenge, what's included, fitness, nutrition, online support. It does not give them the price, though. As we all know, the price is different for each person. And so even if somebody messages me out of the blue and is like, hey, this looks awesome, I want to in on your challenge, how much is it? I still don't answer that, because I'm like, hey, awesome, I'm so excited for you. I would love to give you the price, but I have no idea, because it's different for every single person, depends on what they have. Can you tell me a little bit about your goals so I can help you figure out the price, you know? And then they'll dig in. So don't answer it right away, because you don't know. You can't possibly answer it right away. All right, bonus, you get me as your personal coach. And that has some wording, but even in there, I think I would still change it a little bit more, letting you know that if you are currently working with a coach, to reach out to them. Then at the end, it has a registration end date, and to tag or invite some other people with them. Okay, so next. Where am I? Daily teasers. This is so important, and this is the #1 way that challenge groups or Facebook events work, okay? If you don't do this step, you're not gonna get anywhere. I mean, maybe you will, but you shouldn't. This is the reason why events work so well for a lot of our coaches. You have to work it. You can't just make the event and let it go and expect people to give you an answer. Do not expect people will see your event and read all the information, make an intelligent decision. Listen, I get event invites all the time on Facebook, all the time. I don't even look at half of them. Probably 95% of them I don't look at. Okay, but those who are constantly posting in an event and I constantly get updates, I'm driven to want to make a decision. I'm either gonna look into it further or I'm not gonna look into it further. And you know what? If somebody answers no to my event, I would rather them answer no than not give me an answer at all. I want the interaction. I want people to message me or me to message them, or really I want them to just click are they interested, are they going, or are they not? I just want an answer so I can follow up with those who want. Okay, so setting up the event is just the tip of the iceberg. The real happenings are in the daily posts you create. So what do you post? It's a good question. Next. Alexa, you're doing so awesome at this. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, people do not buy products, they buy relations, stories, and magic. Okay, so keep this in your head when you're posting into your event, okay? You want to tell a story. You want to let them know how it's affected you. You want to give them stories of other challengers who's already been in challenge groups with you. If you've never run a challenge group, take other challengers from other people's challenge group stories and share it. We're all part of one big team called Team Beachbody. Everybody's results, everybody's before and afters are part of your business. We all are in this together. All of those coaches and challengers that you see, if you go to like, write this down because you're gonna want it. When you go to Country Heat's like page, you're gonna see that they're gonna post a lot of transformation stories, and not just the stories, the pictures and the stories together. Just reword it a little bit. Not their quotes, don't reword that. Reword when they say, oh, this coach, blah, blah, blah. Just say, hey, look at awesome Amanda's results. Look at what she had to say.
So don't share it.
What's that?
So don't share it.
Yeah, thank you. Don't share it from the like page, all right? Pull up the picture, take the picture, copy and paste the quote, and organically input it into your event. This is so important. Thank you, Kaylee. Very, very important. Okay, so keep this in mind when we go to the next slide. Go ahead, next slide. All right. Here's some things that you can do. Now, I am a huge advocate for Facebook Live, really big. Kind of obnoxious sometimes about it. Okay, but listen, people are on Facebook to be friends with you. And what better way to be friends with someone than to just be real with them? Like, just talk to them like it's your best friend. And maybe that's why I'm obnoxious, because I think I'm obnoxious to my best friend. So, get on Facebook Live into your event and tell your story. Take a little like 3x5 card, or if you're like me, make a lot of chicken scratch, and then just get in front of the camera at 9 p.m., click live, and talk to your best friend. Be like, hey, I just want to tell you a little bit about my story and where I came from and how challenges have helped me, and then just interact. And then ask questions when you're interacting. Did you ever feel like after having a baby that you would never get this excess weight off and your body completely changed, and oh my God, where did those stretch marks come from? Just ask questions, talk to people, but tell your story. Don't make it too long, that's easy to do, but go live. Just make sure you're sharing your story. You can also unpack the box and describing what's in it. My last Ultimate Reset group event, I brought all of the pieces out of the box. I went live and I brought my box up and I was like, this is my box, this is my Ultimate Reset box, and I took everything out and just explained really quick what it is because I've done it before. So I can say, hey, this really helped me with this really helped me with that. Oh my God, look at these recipes, they're freaking awesome. All right, and you might not like vegetables before doing this, but trust me, at the end, you're gonna be like, I didn't even know they tasted like candy, okay? So make sure you describe each thing, but be quick, have fun, really smile a ton. People don't like to look at grumpy people, okay? You can also post your results, pictures of your results or someone else's results. We already talked about this. Recipes that you can eat on the plan. This is really cool. Grab some recipes. You can go to teambeachbody.com on the blog, look up the recipes, and once again, pull the picture off of the recipe, all right? Copy and paste the recipe. Put the picture organically on. You can put the recipe in the description or in the comment section, but not sharing sites and sharing other people's posts is huge because it helps you with the amount of people who will see your posts. Facebook has crazy algorithms. They're always changing, but what we've all noticed is that if you share something, whether it's something from your like page to your regular page or something from a website to your profile page, whatever it is, if you're sharing it, not nearly as many people who you're friends with will see that post. Okay, so organically pull the information in there. You can ask polls. You can like run a poll and ask questions. I stole a poll from Melanie Mitro. She had like an awesome question on her Country Heat event, so I took that. But keep in mind that if you're looking at some like awesome like Melanie Mitro and Lindsay Matway, if you're looking at something from them and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take that idea, don't forget that they have like 100,000 followers. So if they have 30,000 people commenting on theirs, yours is not gonna create 30,000 people if you don't have 100,000 followers, okay? So don't compare yourself to that. You're not gonna get the same kind of interaction. So make it your own and make it relate to you if you're gonna be looking at somebody else's stuff, which is fine. Okay, sneak peek video of the workout or certain moves. I just showed you one that I posted with my husband. That was fun, bless you. Transformation stories and pictures we talked about, and the key is to, seriously, you just need to do this every day in the event. You can do morning and night, you can do just night, either one, but that's what's gonna make it work for you. It's all those notifications people are gonna get for your event, that's important. Did you raise your hand? What's up?
Are you doing this on your like page or your personal page?
It's a good question. I don't use my like page as much as I would like to at the moment. I do it mostly on my profile page. However, here's some tips for your like page. If you're gonna do it on your like page, you can have co-hosts. And I learned this kind of the hard way, as with most things. If you create it on your like page, make sure you make yourself a co-host. Does that make sense? Because then more of your friends will see it. Bless you. There was another tip I had for, make yourself a co-host, and you can do tags. So in your like page, if you're gonna create an event, you can, it gives you a section to make tags when you're creating it. Bless you again. And you can just start writing things in there that have to do with your event, and if it tags it, that's great because more people are gonna see it when they're looking at their events. If you have more tags, it might actually pop up your event when they're scrolling through their news feed. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. Next. Here's some examples of daily teasers. It says, is this meal plan too restrictive? I don't know. You think you can handle this for dinner? And it's like mac and cheese, pasta, turkey sausage. Okay, so in this example, I actually posted the link. And now, going forward, I would know not to do that probably. I would probably just take the picture over and post the recipe. Here's just two announcements. Check out Whitney's results. Holy moly, she looks awesome. This is not my challenger, but it's actually a challenger from Team Destiny. So she's awesome, she rocks. And then another one for Country Heat. It says, yeehaw, Country Heat is finally here. And that one's just a reminder to tell people to make me their coach if they don't already have a coach. So those are really awesome. I found out just from writing this talk for y'all, I found out some more awesome things, so I'm excited to use them. Next, let's go to the next one. Oh yeah, another thing about daily posts, make sure you're always going in every day. So when you post in there, go in and start liking everybody's comments and make sure you're interacting with everybody. The more interaction you have in there, the better. It'll make more people see it. Okay, next, referrals. This is pretty cool. This is something kind of new for me and I'm really excited about. Nothing influences more people than a recommendation from a trusted friend, Mark Zuckerberg. The referral of your friends and family is the greatest compliment you can give me. Thank you for your trust. That's something you can actually use for your challengers, but go ahead and move over to the next one. All right, this is kind of cool. You can have people, like this is huge, guys. Let me go back for a second. I used to sell Cutco knives. Does anybody know what Cutco is?
Yes.
Yeah, those are sharp knives. Okay, so listen, our whole business was based off of referrals. The entire thing. I would go into somebody's house and I'd sit down and do my little presentation, right? Cutting the penny and the rope and the leather, and then we'd ask them if they want to buy anything, but at the very end, and we kind of told them this in the beginning, we work off of referrals. It's the only way I can keep doing this. And I would sit there, and this is like hardcore, right? I'd sit there and I'd say, okay, here's a pen and paper. Write down 5 names of people or friends that you would like to refer me to with their phone numbers right next to it, right here, thank you. And I'd sit there and I'd look at them. And then they would do it, most of the time, without asking. They'd look at me, they'd make sure I don't break eye contact with them, and they'd be like, oh, damn, she's serious. And I'd be like, it's okay, they'll like me. You know, you liked me, no big deal. But I wouldn't say that. I would be saying,